As we head into flu season, learn the dangers of not getting your flu shot.
Voting day is coming up and I've got good news for those 9 to 5ers.
And the city of Denton prepares for their annual Day of the Dead festival. I'll have more details for you later on in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Austin Wright.
And I'm Olivia Thompson. A private school in Addison, Texas canceled 2 days of classes after a large number of students were reported absent due to flu-like symptoms. The school officials responsible for the action said they hope that canceling classes will help reduce the spread of the virus and give students time to recover.
With the rise of respiratory viruses surging, shortages of pediatric beds has hospitals suffocating across the country. Ivan Rodriguez from CNN has the full story.
RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus, is a common illness that is occasionally severe in young children and one doctors are used to treating. But this year, children's hospitals across the country are seeing an unexpected rise in cases and hospitalizations.
We saw RSV starting to circulate in the summer, and we had a very, very early peak.
In these 5 states, pediatric hospital beds are almost at capacity, with Rhode Island reaching 99%. Dr. Andy Shane with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says, along with the rise in RSV cases, the flu is also a growing concern.
We definitely are starting to see many, many more cases of influenza in children with flu. Among the children that we've been seeing with COVID and influenza that are requiring hospitalization, 95% have not been fully vaccinated.
The CDC says flu positivity rates increased at the beginning of October from 2.8% to more than 4% in just 1 week, a rate experts say is higher than usual for this time of year. And of course, there is still concern over COVID-19. While those cases remain relatively low, doctors worry about how much of an impact all 3 of these respiratory illnesses will have this season.
The question is, how severe will it be? We've already started seeing cases, and we're not even in winter yet. So that's why it's really important to get that influenza shot.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The flu impacts millions of Americans every year, and with the abnormal rise in cases for the upcoming winter, it is safe to say that keeping up with good hygiene habits and investing in a flu shot is in everyone's best interest.
As it gets colder outside, doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say it's important to build up your immune system for the winter months. Nowadays, it's common to get a cold or other illness, but there are ways you can take extra precautions at home. Julia Sumpano, a registered dietitian with the Cleveland Clinic, recommends including lots of fruits and vegetables in your diet. Nutrients such as vitamin C, zinc, and iron come naturally through these fruits and are a lot more beneficial than supplements. And an easy way to get all of these nutrients is with a smoothie. Sumpano recommends a simple recipe, a mixture of spinach, berries, Greek yogurt, and some chia seeds for omega-3. This is one of the healthiest and tastiest vitamin-rich meals you can have. Smoothies are a great way, also easy way to go, especially if you're in a hurry.
You know what food is great for healthy eating and staying warm this fall? Soup. Personally, I'm looking forward to chicken noodle, but what are you looking forward to, Olivia?
Well, chicken noodle isn't half bad, but I'm more of a baked potato soup person. Let's ask our super weather anchor, Gabby Carden, about what to expect. Gabby.
Thanks, guys. Now, right now, the weather is perfect. It's 70 degrees. There's just a little bit of wind and the sun is out, partly cloudy. But in the next 24 hours, this is going to get yucky. So let me get into that. Right now, we're sitting at 71 degrees. It feels pretty much the same with a little bit of wind. Like I said, 12 miles per hour. As we get into tonight, the temperature is going to drop a whole 10 degrees, guys. This is looking at 10 o'clock tonight. 61 degrees. Those wind speeds are also going to drop down to 9 miles per hour. So if you like chillier nights, tonight might be your night. But looking into tomorrow, starting at like 1 a.m., guys, 1, 2 a.m., that rain is going to come in. We're going to have rainy conditions tomorrow, a high at only 53 and wind speeds up to 12 miles per hour. And I'll get more into how those rainy conditions are going to affect our 7-day forecasts later in the show. But for now, that's all I have for you guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Despite inflation and stagnant wages, the U.S. economy has been trending by 2.5% in the last quarter. Isabel Rosales from CNN has more.
A sign of hope for economic recovery. The latest data shows the gross domestic product grew 2.6%. It's a turnaround from the negative of 1.6% in the first quarter and negative 0.6% in the second.
Great economic report today.
The report by the Bureau of Economic Analysis offering a sign of relief for the White House as President Joe Biden looks to tout economic successes heading into the midterms.
When you combine this with reports that we've seen recently in the labor market, this does show that the economy continues to move forward.
More spending in travel and dining out, balanced with less spending in durable goods, fueling the economic growth. But experts warn Americans should still brace for a recession.
I think the odds that next year we get a recession are very high because inflation's still high, the Federal Reserve's still fighting inflation, and also the whole world is going into recession.
Other factors of concern to consumers include a housing market cool down as mortgage rates top 7% for the first time since 2002, all coming on the heels of interest rates on the rise as the Fed works to cool white-hot inflation.
That doesn't feel great always. You know, we see rising interest rates for mortgages, as you say, all kinds of debt. At the same time, this is necessary in order to avoid a hard landing.
Let's hope this recent change continues in the upcoming year as the midterm election is sure to shake up economic impacts across the country.
Voting season is in full swing. Early voting for the November general election is open for all registered Denton County voters. The election day is November 8th, so make sure that you've cast your vote by then. For more information on where to vote, go to votedenton.gov. Early voting is still going at full force, but many are waiting on the official day of November 8th. But what if you're going to work that day? Our live reporter, Kelsey Clark, has a potential answer to your query. Kelsey?
Yes, Austin, I'm here outside the Gateway Center where lots of people are out here getting their early votes in. But what about those who are waiting until November 8th? If you're working that Tuesday and don't know if you'll be able to get the time in to vote, you're in luck. Businesses in Texas and a majority of other states are legally required to give workers time off to go to the polls. A whole 29 states, including the District of Columbia, require employers to ensure workers have that time off. 22 of those states require that time to be paid. A federal proposal to make this voting leave nationwide is currently making its way through Congress. Well, I'm going to go get my early vote in, so back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Kelsey. Right after the break, we get new insight into how the Dallas Methodist shooter was able to get a gun despite being a felon.
Then coming up, learn how Denton is celebrating its Hispanic roots this weekend.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA? Yeah, go to bed.
Oh, with uncount?
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters. At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Questioned tonight in the double homicide of 2 Dallas healthcare workers a few days ago. Federal law enforcement officers are now investigating how the accused killer, Nestor Oswaldo Hernandez, managed to get a gun. He was on parole and wearing an active ankle monitor, but as a convicted felon, it's unclear as to how he obtained the weapon. Hernandez is in jail on a $2 million bond and charged with capital murder and aggravated assault of a public servant.
So cities like Denton, Dallas, or Fort Worth all have neighborhoods that go through transitions. One of those neighborhoods in Dallas is Deep Ellum, well known for alternative culture. ntTV's Courtney Hill has more in tonight's For the Culture segment. Courtney?
That's right, Olivia. Sometimes those transitions can be difficult. Deep Ellum has always had a reputation for being a bit edgy. I talked with one local entrepreneur about the situation.
Deep Ellum, the known cultural district of Dallas, was once a place where you could watch your favorite artists live, take pictures in the streets, or even a place to hang out with friends, has now turned into a place of confusion and fright. Deep Ellum has experienced a string of crimes throughout this year, resulting in fatal outcomes. Jerry Russell is not only a resident of Deep Ellum, but is a part of a music production company that brings music legends to Dallas. He explains an event of a shooting that happened that resulted in 2 deaths and 4 injured people.
We actually saw the crowds as they were running down the street away from it. And, we heard about it that same night. So luckily, we were inside the club. We didn't have any problems.
The police have decided to enlarge their presence in Deep Ellum, along with many barricades.
I think of barricades like I think about what happened to the entertainment industry when COVID hit. It pretty much killed it.
The barricades are putting some of the businesses at risk. Russell states that the only thing that really makes sense to him is the increase of police enforcement. If you are going to be traveling to Deep Ellum on the weekends, be on the lookout for the main streets that are barricaded off. Main and Malcolm, Elman Hall, and Commerce and Cries.
So with Halloween coming up, check out the locations and any information about transportation and traffic. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Courtney. It looks like we may need to be more weather aware this weekend.
With that being said, we'll turn it over to our weather anchor, Gabby Cardin, to let you know what you should be prepared for this week. Gabby?
Thanks, y'all. Now, like I said earlier, the temperature outside right now is nice, but let's look at North Texas temperatures all across the region because it's pretty much the same all across the board. We have Gainesville sitting at 69, Dallas at 71, Fort Worth at 73. So all across the board, 70, 60-degree temperatures, really starting to feel like fall here in North Texas. But as we look across the state, we're going to start seeing some anomalies start to pop up, specifically Austin at 78 degrees, almost summer temperatures still down there. But like I said, as we get more to North Texas, Denton at 71, and Murillo even far up north at 67 degrees. So a mix of fall and summer temperatures across the state, but what do we expect? It's Texas, guys. Now let's get into the 7-day forecast. Today is going to be nice and sunny, but like I teased earlier, the rain is going to come at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. even tonight. So Friday, lots of rain, lows in the 50s and highs also in the 50s. So we're just staying in that 50-degree range. Saturday, the rain's going to continue through the morning. Hopefully it'll dissipate by afternoon or evening time with those highs at 63. Come Sunday, we're going to get back to partly cloudy temperatures all the way through Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'll get back to sunny skies with a high of 76 and a low of 51. So that's all I got for your 7-day forecast here in North Texas. I'll be back later in the show with a special guest. That's all I have. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Well, it's good to see we'll have some nice weather this weekend because Halloween isn't the only holiday being celebrated this spooky season.
November 2nd is a special holiday in Mexico with celebrations being held right here in the U.S. Our live reporter Andrea Valdez has more information on how Denton is participating in the festivities. Andy?
That's right, guys. Starting in Mexico as a celebration of life, November 2nd is known as Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos is a day to honor those who have passed on by celebrating their life and creating altars with photos and treats full of loved ones. Now, I know that this Dia de los Muertos, I'll be honoring my abuelitos for sure. And in fact, the city of Denton is gearing up for the holiday for their annual Day of the Dead festival, taking place tomorrow through Sunday, starting at 5 p.m. The festival will be held here on Oak Street in downtown Denton with costume contest, Twilight Lantern Festival, and for all you racing fans out there, there will also be coffin races, which our sports anchor Armando Berry will talk about later on in the show. Now, if you want to get involved here, I highly recommend you come out tomorrow at 5 p.m. here on Oak Street. Bring your friends and family and have some fun. That's all I have for you guys right now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Andy. Your parents may have warned you about monsters under your bed, but what about a monster on your front door? Gene Moose has more on a man who went viral for his monster door creation.
C is for cookie. It's as if the Cookie Monster took up residence in the front door.
Do you like candy? Well, I'm gonna eat you.
This is an Iowa family's contribution to Halloween.
So I thought I'd just dress up the house.
It took Greg Dietzenbach 10 days and about $200 to make what he calls the Monster.
It looked like a Pixar movie come to life.
What are you doing? That's my candy.
First, he made a mini prototype. Then he made a door, arms out of broomsticks, video eyes looped on an old TV, and a mouth out of styrofoam covered in purple fur everywhere.
In the end, it pretty much looked like I killed a Muppet.
Every Halloween, Greg, the creative director at a creative design agency, does something unique for Halloween, like when he made this Zoom meeting costume for his kids at the height of the pandemic. On Halloween, he'll be the man behind the door, flapping the arms.
Hey!
And using his foot to move a line attached to his shoe that moves the mouth. In a way, Greg is a little like the Wizard of Oz. The one thing Greg's monster door can't do is open. To get inside, Greg usually crawls through a window. But when it comes to those vocals...
That's my candy!
Greg's more of a whiz than the wizard.
I am the great and powerful Wizard of Oz.
Hey, that's my candy!
Greg is the Wizard of Iowa. Jeannie Mose, CNN.
Happy Halloween!
New York.
This very imaginative front door is sure to bring back the fun in Halloween for all ages.
Well, with Halloween around the corner, we all know that cats, especially black cats, get a bad rap. But trust me, they're great pets. I have one. And it's time to celebrate because it's National Black Cat Day. October 27th shines a spotlight on the dark-colored pets. National Black Cat Day was founded by a British animal charity called Cats Protection, and people celebrate this day by posting pictures of their black cat on social media. Black cats have long been associated with bad luck, resulting in lower adoption rates compared to other colored cats. We hope this recognition will help convince more people to give these sleek creatures a new home.
Speaking of cats, Austin, our reporter Talea Munson has tips on how to keep our pets safe on Halloween. Talea.
That is right, guys. I am here at the Denton Animal Shelter with Choco and a Taco because we want Halloween to be safe, not only for you, but for our furry friends out there. Now, it is adorable seeing so many pets that love to celebrate with us by dressing up and being adorable. However, we cannot forget about the ones that get stressed on this holiday. Now, it is fun to spook people, but not pets. So here are a few tips to keep Halloween safe and happy for all. Now, start by choosing your pet's costumes wisely, making sure they fit comfortably and do not leave your pet unattended in costume. Next, protect them from overstimulation, meaning if your pet seems to be getting too spooked, it may be a good idea to keep them indoors for the night, especially if your pet has fearful tendencies. Make sure your decorations don't become a treat or chew toy for your little one, and have a plan in case your pet does consume toxic items. Lastly, know your pet's limits. Just like people have anxiety, so do pets. And me and Chaco both agree that pets just deserve some happiness and treats. Isn't that right, Chaco? Well, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Talea. After the break, a new shift for students at the college level could make waves in the U.S. workforce.
And in sports, Armando Berry tells us about a very unusual race here in Denton. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Kennedy, the president of Black Film Club, and what I love about BFC is the atmosphere and the members. The family feel that we have in our club is really genuine. What about you, Bree?
My name is Bree. I'm the vice president of Black Film Club, and what I love about Black Film Club is there it's a small but close, like, little family. You know, I feel like a lot of times when you go to a PWI, it's hard to find like a Black community that share the same interests in you. So I'm very blessed and grateful to have, you know, found my family.
What I would say I like about Black Film Club is obviously the environment that it sets for everybody. I love the officers. I've been rocking with basically all of them since day one, since freshman year. We all came in here at the same time, all got involved with Black Film Club at the same time. So it's been a nice community to grow with, and then seeing new members come, seeing them get interested, seeing how they like Black film, teaching them what we can teach them before we leave, and giving them the mantle to take over. It's a blessing.
The Pew Research Center has discovered new statistics in the college educated workforce, and the results may surprise you. They discovered that women now outnumber men in more than half of the labor force in the United States. This shift is heavily due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, despite the overall decline in the nation's labor force in the past 4 years. As far as the UNT undergraduate population goes, female students outnumber the male population 54 to 46%. This change in gender dynamics has been a common trend in the last 4 decades of Americans earning bachelor's degrees.
With the DACA program constantly under a microscope, the impact it can have on local communities is immeasurable. ntTV's Sebastian Nava has a story of one dreamer who works to make other DACA students' dreams come true.
In the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, thousands of immigrants rely on the DACA program to create opportunities for themselves. But in recent years, the DACA program has been put under legal scrutiny, leaving many in the neighborhood wondering what's next for them and their families. But that hasn't stopped some in the neighborhood from making a positive impact.
They don't see going to college as an option. That was one of the main things many people asked me when I was going to college. Why are you going to college? You don't even have a way to work afterwards. Because now it would change the mentality of a community like Oak Cliff. We don't value education. We don't value it. That's our culture. We are hard workers. Yes, we work hard and everything, but we don't value education. Why? Because many of us are immigrants.
But despite all the obstacles he faced, Coach Castro persisted.
They gave me a chance to work, and that's basically what I needed. I had already gone to school. I had the degree. The only thing missing was I had no social.
Coach Castro now contributes to the community as the head coach for the Adamson High School soccer team, a team that has produced 2 valedictorians.
If they're failing, I always tell them, I don't need you in the field. You need to go and do whatever, catch up in grades. Now that I'm a coach, I don't know how I can go back just to teaching. It has so much impact. A sport has so much impact if we use it the right way.
Reporting for ntTV, I'm Sebastian Nava.
Well, we won't be seeing any home games in football this weekend since the UNT team is going out of state.
You'll have plenty to watch this weekend, especially with the World Series coming up. Our sports anchor Armando Berry has the stories inside the lines. Tell us about it, Armando.
I'll explain how important the road ahead is for some of our Texas teams and why I'm standing in front of this Dia de los Muertos mural when we come back from break.
to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
After a heartbreaking loss to the UTSA Roadrunners last weekend, the Mean Green will have another shot at a CUSA top dog when they take on Western Kentucky this Saturday. The Mean Green are currently sitting 4-4 overall and 3-1 in conference, leaving them at 3rd place in CUSA. Western Kentucky is in 2nd place, so a win on Saturday can move UNT back into the top 2. This is vital to the Mean Green's postseason hopes, since only the top 2 teams in the standings are selected to play for the conference titles. The Roadrunners' undefeated CUSA record puts them ahead of the pack, so the Mean Green is going to need to come out of Bowling Green with the win if they want to stay in play for that last spot. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. There's another Dallas sports team traveling cross-country to play as the Dallas Mavs take on the Brooklyn Nets tonight on NBA TV. Both teams have deep postseason expectations, but are coming into tonight's game with a little frustration after some tough losses recently. The Mavs are 1-2 after a 22-point loss to the Pelicans without Zion on Wednesday. The Brooklyn Nets are 1-3 after back-to-back losses on the road to the Grizzlies and the Bucks, where their head coach Steve Nash was ejected from the game. Kyrie and KD are going to want the win at home, but they're going to have to see what Luka has to say about that. You can watch that game when it tips off at 6:30 p.m. on NBA TV. The biggest event in baseball is taking place right here in Texas when the Houston Astros host the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 1 of the 2022 World Series tomorrow night. The Astros have bulldozed their way to the World Series after sweeping the Mariners and the Yankees in their past 2 series. But the Phillies have experienced a completely different path as the bottom 6 seed. They took down the Cardinals in the wild card game before going 5 games with both the Atlanta Braves and the San Diego Padres. After making the playoffs for the first time in 12 years, the underdog Phillies now face their Goliath in the Stros, who are competing for the chip for the 4th time in 6 years. First pitch for Game 1 is set for 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Playoff races aren't the only races going fast in Texas. Right here on Hickory Street, you can check out the annual coffin race at Den's Day of the Dead Festival this Saturday at 12. I hope everyone watching has a happy Halloween. That's your look at sports for tonight. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yes, happy Halloween to you all. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again next week here on North Texas Television.